Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
There is an incredible scam going on in the Philippines in the airport in Manila, where people are having to completely wrap their luggage in kind of like that saran wrap material, put a lock on their zippers, and then wrap the lock itself with duct tape. Because as the scam works, someone will drop a bullet into your luggage, and then they will come to you and tell you that unless you pay them off, they are going to, it's going to be a big problem once your luggage is screened and a bullet is found on your luggage. And it's happening to unsuspecting passengers. Legislators are saying we need an investigation. This is an extortion racket, and we need to figure out a way to stop this. Interestingly, Filipino boxer Manny Pacquiao has said he will pay for the legal defense of people who are victims of this scam, and he's calling for the government to end this immediately. A Filipino worker and a Japanese tourist were the latest passengers to be detained in the swindle at what is the main airport in the Philippines, and other targets have reportedly been taken to court for refusing to pay fines. And I could understand that being my reaction, which is all of a sudden you're being scammed in the sense that you really didn't put a bullet anywhere, and you're told you have to pay these fines, and you say, "Hey, I'm just gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna pay the fine," and people ending up in court. And this is truly incredible. And whenever I go to airports, I've never seen it in the U.S., but for example, in Argentina, when you show up at the airport, they offer the bag wrapping service. And I always thought, how does it really do that much? Because if you have a sharp knife, you can just cut the saran wrap and get into stuff. And I guess conceivably, if you have it saran wrapped and locked with those little zipper locks and have the locks duct taped, I guess if it needs to happen quickly, you're making it more difficult for your bags to be a target. But truly insane. And I always think about once, and I try not to check bags. As people know, I try to always bring a bag that's small enough to carry on to the plane with me. I often wonder about all the different things that could happen. And there was a story recently at JFK International Airport in New York City, I think last year, of a theft ring going on with ramp workers that were taking all sorts of stuff, electronics and valuables, from people's checked baggage. And when you're traveling, there's a 50% chance, or more, I guess you could say, that you're not at your home airport. Meaning if you lose stuff, if you're flying from Boston to, I don't know, you're flying from Boston to South America and you're laying over in Miami, if something is stolen from you in Miami and you don't realize it until you get to South America, you won't know whether it was stolen in Boston or Miami, and ultimately you're going back to Boston. And unless the airport catches you, it's very unlikely that you're really going to get caught for that because the person is gone, right? And it seems like an attractive crime to me. And I do think about that, and all I can really do is try to keep the luggage with me and not have to check it. Although, on a longer trip, you just need a bigger bag because you can't fit, if you don't have access to laundry during your trip, you really just can't take enough, you need to take too much for it to fit in a carry-on, at least in my experience. Crazy story out of Arizona. A bunch of people who are members sent me this story. An Arizona grandfather has been arrested and accused of leaving his 5-year-old granddaughter alone in the desert with a loaded and cocked .45 caliber handgun and the instruction to, quote, shoot any bad guys. His name is Paul Armand Rader. He's 53 years old. He was booked in downtown Phoenix on suspicion of 2 counts of felony child abuse and 1 count of felony child endangerment stemming from an incident on Sunday night. Deputies say that he and the child left their home in Buckeye, which is about 30 miles west of Phoenix, in a pickup truck early Sunday afternoon. The girl was then reported missing 4 hours later. She was eventually located in the desert by her mother and by an off-duty firefighter. The child was holding this very powerful pistol. According to our old friend, Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio, She was given the gun and told to shoot any bad guys. I don't know how a 5-year-old can tell a good guy from a bad guy, but that's what she said she was told. Yeah, I mean, lunatic, racist Sheriff Joe Arpaio is onto something. The reality is that even adults can't often tell good guys from bad guys. As we've talked about in the Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting incident, the idea that having more people with guns in that dark theater would have made it better, you wouldn't have been able to tell who the good guys with guns were and who the bad guys with guns were. Rader, the grandfather, was later located at a store where he told police officers that his vehicle broke down and he left the girl under a tree in the desert because she was complaining she couldn't walk anymore. And he said, yeah, I left the girl with the gun and I went for a few drinks and a cheeseburger. The child ultimately made it back to her mother. Child welfare authorities in Arizona are looking into whether the being with the mother is a safe environment or not. I mean, I guess we just don't know. You could make a case that if this grandfather was the mother's father rather than from the father's side of the family, that maybe the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. At the same time, we don't really know much about this family at all. So maybe being with the mother is safe, but just insane. Shoot any bad guys, stay in the desert by yourself for hours. I think that everybody here is very lucky that that girl didn't end up dead from either dehydration or who knows what could have happened, but just an utterly insane story. I have news about the 2016 Patriot Mail calendar. Let me remind you, this is the 2015 Patriot Mail calendar. I don't have the 2016 calendar yet. Each page has a different Patriot Mail themed image. All of the images created by viewers of the show, other than one which was created by producer Lewis. This year, the 2016 calendar, we didn't even need producer Lewis to do an image because we got so many great submissions in the end from our viewers. Member and longtime viewer Anthony Petramala did the cover design of the new calendar and also arranged it and laid it out for us. And the calendars are ready. I don't even have one yet. As members, you have two options, okay? If you would like a free calendar and maybe you're on a monthly membership and you want to switch to yearly, or maybe you have a yearly membership that will be expiring soon and you want to restart your membership and get the free calendar, you can go to davidpakman.com/calendar16 and you'll see options for the signed calendar and the unsigned calendar. Just like last year, we're doing the exact same prices. No inflation, okay? That's a big deal. Maybe it's not, but it kind of is. I mean, everybody raises the rates and we're doing the same rates as last year. If you want just the calendar, there's a big discount for members, which is basically just our calendar cost plus shipping and handling, okay? And for that, you can go to davidpakman.com/calendar-members-16, okay? All one word, davidpakman.com/calendar-members-16. The password for the page is the same password we're using right now for everything else, which is Boston16. Lowercase, all one word, Boston16. And at davidpakman.com/calendar-members-16, as members, you can get the calendar unsigned or the calendar signed at a discount because you are a member. So those are the options that are available. Shipping is free within the United States, and I've made a note on the page to remind you that if you live outside the US, shipping is not included. You can email me before you buy if you would like a shipping quote, or after you buy, we will email you and tell you how much it's going to cost. The shipping cost will be somewhere between $6 and $15. I wish it were cheaper to ship these things internationally. It's just not. Okay, in the US, we can do, I think they used to call it media mail. Now they call it, I think it's library mail, and it's less expensive. There is no such thing internationally. So for some countries, I think it's like $14.70 or something to ship the calendars. Canada, I think, is more like $6 to $8. So it'll be somewhere between $6 and $15 to ship it internationally. If you're in the US, shipping is already included. So any questions, let me know on davidpakman.com/calendar16 and davidpakman.com/calendar-members16. you'll be able to see a preview grid that has all of the different images that are in the calendar included on it. I think you will love it. I think this calendar is even better than last year's because we've done a couple of new things with the types of images we included. There's some really funny stuff. We have also dates in the calendar, like, for example, the next anniversary for the David Pakman Show. In addition to listing holidays, the calendar lists a couple of show-related dates of note. So I think people are going to love it. Questions, let me know. These will start shipping immediately. We are taking orders. The calendar is on sale. And I think I mentioned last year we sold, I believe it was 125 calendars all told. Members, non-members, as part of memberships, etc., which for the first time we did it wasn't bad, but I would really like to get to 200 calendars this year. And we have many more members. We have a much larger audience. So I think that it is very, very realistic. And hopefully a lot of our members will help get us off to a good start. So I will be back tomorrow. New show, new bonus show. I guess that's it.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.